bloody good. We're down, oh, get the camera right, we're down in Strangers Lane. I think that's what it's called. Yes, Strangers Lane. Google Maps didn't know where Strangers Lane was. How's that? But we got here in the end, because I forgot where it was. Anyway, I promised you some more pub crawl live streams. Timaru, I have an apology. Let's just get set up. Bear with me a second, because I have no idea what's going on. How's the audio? Any good? There we go, look. South Island pub crawl, Christchurch. Probably got some volume to get rid of. Nope, we're all good there. So, we've got, we've got 7 people watching. Holy moly. So yes, Timaru. What happened in Timaru? Well, after the live stream on Sunday morning, my plan was to do another live stream that evening down at a pub in Timaru. That was the plan. And we'd found somebody's black dog place. I can't remember what it was, the pub. Anyway, got there, very smoker unfriendly. Had this little tiny space outside where you could have a drink and smoke, but obviously you couldn't eat in there. So I binned that idea. I went for a wander around Timaru to try and find an alternative pub to do a live stream from where I could eat my tea, have a chat with you guys, and have a cigarette. There wasn't one. There really wasn't anywhere that was suitable, so I just gave up and went to tea somewhere and couldn't do the live stream. So my apologies. I was looking forward to doing one out of Timaru. Anyway, here we are in Christchurch. I'm here for 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow night, and staying at a very nice hotel right next to the cathedral. It's quite posh actually, been there before. It's not my preferred hotel. Preferred hotel is the Distinction, which is excellent, but unfortunately that's being used to house virus infected people at the moment, potentially, so that's out of the question, not staying there. So yeah, Timaru, what was going to happen during my stay on Sunday in Timaru, my jaunt around the place? Well, first off, I went to the Timaru International Raceway, where they do motorcycle racing and all sorts of stuff. Pulled in to see what was going on, and turned out there were some bicycles going around. Wasn't really interested in watching bicycles around the tracks. I aborted mission on that and decided to go straight for the brewery tour at the DB Brewery in town. Got there, big sign said brewery tours and stuff. Went on the internet, all good, should be open. Big chain across the gates. What's going on? Gave him a ring. Turns out I read the website wrongly, and I called one in the North Island, and they said, yeah, we're open, where are you? And I said, well, I'm parked outside, but the gates are locked. And they're like, no, they're not. So it all came to fruition when we realised I was at the wrong brewery to the one I was ringing, and the one that I was at was closed on Sundays, so that didn't happen. So I went into town, parked up the ute, dropped some gear off at the hotel, went for a wander, and ended up going to go and watch a movie, an Australian movie called Rams, with Sam Neill, guy out of Jurassic Park, great actor, and it was all right. Sort of filled in a few hours, and then went back to the hotel, got cleaned up, did a bit of work, and then went back out to go and search for a pub for the live stream, and it all fell to pieces. So I had an early night, which was really good because I felt, you know, a lot better this morning. Anyway, that's what happened in Timaru. Very little after the live stream, in all honesty. We've got a few comments. 9 people on board, which is 9 better than none, isn't it, to be honest? Junior Itel, or Itel. Sounds good. In Spring Hill, Florida. All the way in Florida. What's the weather like over there? It's pretty good here at the moment. Frederick Charpenter. Good audio. Excellent. It's pretty quiet down here. I have to also try and find places where there isn't the music isn't too loud, because if YouTube pick up on it, they demonetize the video, which it's not the end of the world, it's only a live stream, but it gets a bit frustrating sometimes. It causes a lot of admin problems with YouTube, unfortunately. Now then, Super Duty 455. Greetings from Texas. Golly, we've got people from all over the place. Frederick, whereabouts are you from? Just out of interest. Gary Garnett. Good day, Andy, from Dubai. You're looking well rested. I am. I feel a lot better for having that good night's sleep on Sunday night. So I only had a couple of pints that day and then just gave up. I think I was in bed for like 9:30 in the evening, which is sacrilege, but I feel a lot better for it. Well, we've got some food underway. Should be here soon, so that'll be good. Now then, who else have we got? So, hello Gary, good to have you on board, sir. And Frederick, greetings from Florida. Ah, you're in Florida. So we've got Junior and Frederick, both in Florida. Fantastic. So, how did my day go today? Well, it actually went tickety-boo, to be fair. First call was a motorcycle shop in Timaru, and pretty relaxed. No real problems to sort out. Techs are doing really well. Diagnostic tools all up to date. And they weren't over busy. The things have just started to quieten off a little bit since the mad rush we've had for the few months, or the last few months. So things are looking pretty good for them. And then I had to hot-foot it up to Ashburton and go and see the lads at the bike shop in Ashburton. And again, all going to plan. No chaos, nothing untoward. Everybody's happy. All under control, so to speak. And again, diagnostic tools all up to date. You know, just went through everything. It was actually a very, very pleasant day, to be honest, very relaxed. Didn't get any grief, which was nice. And my plans for the rest of the week, well, probably another early night tonight, try and get ahead with the old sleep a little bit because I've got a few busy days coming up. Tomorrow I've got a motorcycle shop in Christchurch to go and visit, and then one at Rangiora, just up the road, about 40 minutes drive north. And because there's nowhere decent to stay in Rangiora, and anybody that lives in Rangiora will know there's nowhere decent to stay in Rangiora, I'm going to come back to Christchurch, stay in the same hotel. And then Wednesday is a mission day. The mission is to get to Picton to catch the ferry at 1:30, which means I've got to be there at 12:30, and it's about a 6-hour drive from Christchurch, and it goes up up the east coast. And they had a massive landslide. I think it was not Raceway. Anyway, up on the east coast, there was a huge landslide, and that road was closed for a very long time, as was the railway line as well. And there's still a lot of major roadworks going on at the moment while they get the whole job finished off. So that's why it takes a bit longer to get up there. And I've got a couple of Skype meetings to do on the way, so I'm a bit dubious about the old internet coverage out there as well. So I might have to stop somewhere where there's still decent internet to get those done, because they're very important, which will mean I've got to set off even earlier in the morning, maybe as early as, I don't know, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. That's ridiculous, but it has to happen. And then, assuming I catch the ferry, I should roll into Wellington on the North Island, southern point of the North Island, around about tea time, sort of 5:30ish, and then I've got the evening in Wellington, which will be good. Probably have to catch up with a lot of admin work that evening, to be honest. And then Thursday I've got to go up to Palmerston North. Got another motorcycle shop to visit. Sorry I'm not giving the names of the shops, but it's a bit too much work related. Got to call in there for an hour or so, sort out a few things, and then head home, which is about another 3.5 hour drive from there. So I should get home late afternoon, maybe tea time if I take it nice and easy. Friday suddenly it was going to be a nothing day. I was going to take the day off, to be honest, and try and get a few jobs done at home that I haven't been able to do for the last 3 weeks. But instead, I now have to drive to Auckland, pick up the big trailer, which is at work, and 2 ROVs, and head down to Taupo, almost home, and then drop one off, and then bounce off from Taupo to pretty much near Gisborne, right on it's a long way to Gisborne. Drop the other one off, have a bit of a meeting, and then go back home, so back towards Taupo. So it's about another 5-hour drive from there to get home. So Friday is going to be a very, very long day indeed. I could stay over somewhere, but with the big trailer, it makes it really hard to find any kind of parking. Plus you've got security of that trailer as well, and it's worth a lot of money. I don't want to go and walk about, and I need it. It's in use every single week. Oh, Gary Garnett. My current project is a 1987 CR 250R. Nice bike. Rebuilt from the frame up. They're always the best kind of rebuilds, proper ones, where you get to find all the gremlins. We're missing the Tool Girl videos. Well, I know you are. There's a segment of the audience that do look forward to the Tool Girl videos. About just before I left for the South Island, I filmed with Tool Girl Holly. The whole weekend, 2 full days of filming, long days. She did very, very well actually. And we got about, I think from memory, about 6 videos in the can. Only one of which I've had a chance to edit up at the moment. Obviously, I'm really busy, as you can tell. So when I get home, I'll be able to, over Christmas, work through those videos, get them edited up, and they'll get released 1 a week. So you'll see Holly back on the channel again, basically doing the big rebuild, the frame swap on her DR200. And I think the first video was which we've already done, which was the front end we swapped across. So there'll be lots more of those videos, and hopefully, without giving the game away, hopefully we'll get the bike started on the last video. You have to wait and see, won't you? So the last video will probably be back end of January when that hits the channel. So we've got plenty of videos to go at. Obviously, I'll continue with the live streams on Sunday mornings at 8:30 AM New Zealand time. My apologies, that's middle of the night for you, but I can't help that, unfortunately. And of course, a lot of the parts, in fact, I think all the parts now have turned up for the CB750K2. So that's going to be sort of my project to get some videos done on that and get that project finished, get the bike fully assembled. Fingers crossed it's all good. And then when I go back up to Auckland middle of January, I can deliver that back. And that's the end of the K2 project. And then, obviously, the DR200, I've got to work on that as well. Get the final tweaks done on that. A few new plastics to go on, clean up the fuel tank, and then put the mirrors on and bits and pieces, put on the indicators, and then that can go for a warranty of fitness and get it road legal, which is the whole plan. I've still got some work to do on the back wheel, some spokes to replace, and a new tyre to fit to the rear. I think the front tyre is going to be okay. And then, after all of that, I can start Jared's go-kart, which is going to be a fair project in itself. Bit of fabrication work at the start, got a few some of the tubes on the frame to replace, and then we've got to fit a DR200 engine to it. That'll be fun. Can't wait to get that one finished, but looking forward to doing the work. It should be a really cool little project. Where are we now? Super Duty 455. What kind of food did you order? Well, probably a good thing, but they're down to a reserve chef tonight. The apprentice chef is working. The main chef didn't turn up here. Normally, and then they tend to do some pretty massive helpings. So I just ordered some fried chicken pieces, which is pretty much all that I could do, and some curly fries. That's tea, but it's all right. That'll be plenty for me. Like I said, the portions are massive, so probably won't eat all of it, to be honest. So that should be here in the next, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes or so. That's the plan. I didn't have any lunch today. Machine NZ. Welcome back to another live stream, Machine NZ. Hi Andy, great to catch you live. You're here, I'm here, it's all that matters. Now, remember these live streams are me, they only last as long as the first pint. So we've got the pint and we're drinking today. Here we go. Honesty Box cider, and there's still a bit in the can, so we'll start with the can and then we'll start on the pints. It might be a bonus length live stream, who knows. Gary Garnett, you're really clicking up the kilos on the jute. What's jute? Jut. Or do you mean gut? Oh, I don't know about that. I did jump on some scales at some point recently, and it wasn't quite as much as I thought it was going to be. So I was quite surprised actually. But you're quite right. Andy needs to do some exercise. All this driving doesn't help, does it? To be honest, I'm covering about probably more like 6,000 kilometers on this trip. So that's a lot of driving. But thanks for the heads up. Machine NZ. Hope you have a company vehicle and not using your own. Yes, as per the Sunday morning live stream from Timaru, we did a very quick walk around the Ford Ranger that I use, which is a company car. So yeah, wouldn't want to clock up all these Ks on my own machine. Oh my word, I think food's coming. Excellent. There you go, mate. Just plonking down here. Look, fantastic. Thank you very much. Top love. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Cheers, mate. Now then, where are we? Ken Pickerel. Hi, Andy. Hello, Ken. Welcome to the live stream. Lepsudo Alacon. Hi, Andy. Great to see you in Dunedin. It was. I hope the Land Cruiser's doing all right. Always a pleasure to catch your live streams. Well, you're back. And it was great to catch up. And thank you very much for the pint that you brought me. I do appreciate that. So, what have we got? Well, we've got some fried chicken. It's not a food channel, by the way, but there's some fried chicken. And there wasn't a lot of choice. I had to order fried chicken because that's pretty much all there was. So there you go. Fried chicken. And some curly fries. And I have a confession again, another confession. No pies today. Haven't eaten any pies whatsoever. Didn't have any breakfast and didn't have any lunch. So I'm running pretty lean. This is pretty much all the food that I'm going to eat today. Well, it is all the food that I'm going to eat today. So, you know, trying to cut back a little bit, given all the driving. Good stuff. So, I've run through what I've been doing the last couple of days and what's coming up for the next week. A busy week. And it doesn't stop there. After the weekend, so Saturday will be probably a bit of a late start, a bit of a lie-in. Cider's the main course. Cider's every course. That's not bad. I actually prefer it out of the can than in the bottle, to be fair. Yeah, so Sunday we live stream and then back on the tools again Sunday. Might do some more to Holly's DR actually, try and get that finished off. I know some more parts have arrived. There's a big box of parts have arrived for that. There's some DR parts and of course all the Honda parts have turned up, so that's good news. Monday, early morning start, back up to Auckland again. I've got 2 more RLVs to collect, one from Bethel's Beach Surf Club and one from Raceway Surf Club. Get those back down to head office in Auckland, East Tamaki it is. Then a day in the office Tuesday, trying to get everything finished off. Lots of admin work. I've got heaps of expenses to sort out. A few warranties and bits and pieces to do as well. And then Wednesday, a bit more admin in the morning, and then I've got about mid-morning, I've got to set off with the trailer heading south, call in by a motorcycle shop in Cambridge, drop some stuff off there, have a bit of a short meeting, and then get home. And that's me done for this side of Christmas. Christmas Eve, I think, is a Thursday. I won't be doing a lot at all on the Thursday, believe me. I might even have to go Christmas shopping, to be fair. I haven't done any Christmas shopping at all. Frederick, are you on a diet? Not really. I mean, to be fair, the word diet just means anything you eat. You know, you can be on a diet and eat lots, or on a diet and eat little. So yeah, maybe I am on a diet, we're all on a diet, but I'm not really watching my intake too much. But you've got to be sensible, you know, when you're driving all the time, you don't burn a lot of energy, so you don't need to eat much, that's the thing. And one of the worst habits when you're driving is nibbling whilst driving. That's really bad. I try to avoid that. And when I'm drinking while I'm driving, not alcohol obviously, I'll just have bottled water. That's all I have really, or maybe a coffee in the morning, and that'll be it. So I try to minimize consumption. How's that? David Eagleton. Hi Andy. It's 9:45 p.m. here. David, where's here again? John Tyson. I was born just outside Christchurch. Well, would you believe it, John? There you go. Duke of the Dales. Morning, Andy. Good morning, Duke of the Dales. Great to have you on board. We've got 16 viewers and 7 likes. Honestly, these live streams, these sort of pub crawl live streams are a little bit weird. You know, obviously nothing to do with me being in the workshop, but it's a way of me engaging with the regular viewers as best I can when I'm on the road. This chicken's really good. Really, really, really good actually. And the fries aren't bad either. Oh, David, Riddle, Oregon, USA. Oh, can you pan round where you are? I can. Let me just have a tidy up. Okay, so I'm going to quickly turn the camera around. It's a lot easier that way. Oh my word, that's terrible. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right, we have a concrete wall, not very appealing. That's one of the roads in Christchurch, just outside. Forget the name of the road. And down here, it's like a nice little alleyway, and down here there's quite a few little bars. They all feed off the same kitchen, unfortunately, so it doesn't matter which bar you go to, if there's no chef, you get basics. But it's a very nice little place. It sort of comes alive in the night time. I mean, you can look up there, look, it's all like little fairy lights and stuff in the sky between the buildings. So yeah, it's a very pleasant little place. There isn't really much else to show you, to be honest. That really is it. And it's very quiet at the moment, which is nice for a live stream, because then nobody butts in and wonders what you're doing. There we go, that's better. So not really a lot to see, to be honest. Unfortunately, it's not a bad little pub for a live stream though. It's out of the way, people leave you alone. So, tell me, what have you been up to? Tell me what vehicles have you got? Have you got any questions for me? Because now's the time. Yeah, looks sort of, yeah, a lot quieter than the Octagon the other day. We were really lucky actually. But we did get accosted by two middle-aged women wondering what the hell Andy's doing talking to the camera, talking to his phone basically. I think we even managed to get him on the live stream a little bit, but one of them was very shy and she didn't want to go on. But yeah, we were fortunate. I must admit, that particular live stream is the one that brought my attention to background music and the fact that YouTube really don't like them. Because when you have a video monetized and you've got some music in the background, of course, whoever's made that music puts in a copyright claim, and it gets real messy if you're not careful. But I couldn't help it. It's all part of being at a pub, isn't it? Pat Hill. Hello, Pat. Welcome back, mate. That's a really nice looking concrete wall. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, for Christchurch, it hasn't got any cracks in it, which is a good thing, because a lot of the places here have got big cracks in at the moment after all the earthquakes. Chris Brown. What's your feelings on motor coat? Hang on then. I've never heard of motor coat, so I can't really give you a valid judgment. Let's find out what it is. Is it like an underseal? Motor coat products work in diesel and gasoline engines. Hyper lubricant is a synthetic lubricant that molecularly coats all metal surfaces, not just engines, to help reduce friction and heat in many different engines, I suppose it says there. Alright, so a bit like Slick 50 and all that other, friction modifying or friction reducing agents that you put in your engine. You've got to be very, very careful using that kind of stuff. Obviously, on motorcycles, it doesn't work because usually on a motorcycle, or most motorcycles, you've got a wet clutch, which relies on friction. If you've got a centrifugal clutch on your ATV that's running in oil, you put that kind of stuff in it, and the clutch won't be as effective. It'll potentially slip more often. And oh my word, I got 10% off motor coat. Wow, good job. We'll come back to that. Oh, don't die on me. We've got the wheel of death. Just gotta check the old internet, see what's going on. Hang on a minute. Hopefully we've not run out of data again. Come on. No, we're all right. We're going again. Slight glitch in the matrix. Let me know if you're getting glitches at your end. It might just be at my end on the laptop. The phone's working fine by the looks of it. So yeah, on motorcycles, people sometimes get caught out by using, they think they're doing a great job. They put the friction modifier in the engine, try and get a bit more power at the wheel, And then of course either the clutch starts to slip or a centrifugal clutch starts to slip. Anything that relies on friction within the engine, it can cause a problem. Same with gearboxes and stuff as well. If you were to put it in a gearbox and you've got you know, a manual gearbox, and you've got you know, synchromesh in there, those synchromesh cones rely on the friction. The cone has to break through the oil to grip and synchronize the speed of the two gears. And of course, you go and put some super slippy stuff in there, and it doesn't happen anymore, or it doesn't work as well, and you find that your gears are a little bit clunky when you're doing a gear change. There we go, that's better. So yeah, be very careful what you put it in, that's all I can say. Is there a real benefit to it? I'm sure there probably is a benefit in the right application, but with motorcycles in general, it's not a good idea. And certainly with motorcycles, you must use motorcycle designated engine oil. Don't go putting in car engine oil in a motorcycle for the same reasons, because they can have additives that are detrimental to your wet clutch. That's the can gone. So we're 26 minutes in, and I'm just starting the pint, so it could be a long one. Oh, laptop's working again now, that's good. So, thank you, Chris. A good point to bring up, actually. So if you are thinking of using a friction modifying agent in your engine oil or any other you know, oils within the vehicle, whether it's gearbox or diffs or whatever, just be careful. Again, if you've got like a limited slip diff that's got a clutch pack in it, not a good idea. Now then, driving. How's the rebuild going in Christchurch? I tell you what, I mean, I came to Christchurch years and years ago on a bike ride, a motorcycle ride, and one of the earthquakes had just happened, and the place was looking an absolute shambles. Well, since then, yeah, they've pulled down a lot of the buildings that are a bit suspect, and they've got a lot of new buildings put up, and they're all, you know, steel reinforced, earthquake-proof type buildings, and it's a really nice place, to be honest. It really is. There's some, you know, nearly everything's new, very clean, big wide streets. The one-way system's a bit of a shit, to be honest, but other than that, it's really good.
This isn't really,
Duke of the Dales. I love how we can all connect from around the world. Exactly. Bit of a forum, isn't it, buddy? James Webber. Good evening. Good evening, James. Duke of the Dales. No glitch here. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Lepsuda. Nothing on this side. Cheers, mate. Lynn Hoskins. Hello, Andy. What kind of brew are we having today? Well, we're having Honesty Box cider, and it's a dry cider, not a sweet one. It's actually really nice. I used to drink Strongbow back in the UK. That was quite nice too. And Thornton cider. Yeah, very nice. So, oh my word, lots of comments. Chris Brown. Do you have any Pennzoil Platinum in New Zealand? No, I don't think so. Let's have a little look. Doesn't ring a bell. So I can spell it right. Oh, there we go. Pennzoil NZ distributors. Well, there is, clearly. The importers are in, oh God, Para Umu, wherever the hell that is. Where's that? Let's have a look. Just zoom out a little bit. So the importers are, geez, oh, they're near Levin. So they're just north of Wellington in the North Island. Interesting to know. I haven't really seen it on the shelves, to be honest, so they're obviously not doing a very good job getting it out there. Now then, I'm not sure about the Platinum, but they are the importers for Pennzoil. Killswitch BB, welcome back, mate. Good to have you on board. Time for a drink. Nice. Evening, Andy. Just woke up here in the UK. Damn it, I still need a coffee, lol. Coffee? It's time for a cider, mate. No coffee around here. I had my coffee. In fact, I had two today. I had one in the morning and one at lunchtime. So yeah, I've had more than I thought, actually. Garth May. Now then, Garth. Hi, Andy. I still can't figure out why I switch on when you pop up. But I do bugger you. It could be the hot chicks you have on or the interesting topics you talk about. Either way, Merry Christmas, mate. What a nice chap. Cheers, Garth. Merry Christmas to you too, mate. David Eagleton. Looks good here. Cheers. Thank you for that, David. Machine NZ. Damn. Dinner's ready. Catch you later. Safe journeys. Cheers, matey. Really appreciate that. Thanks for dropping in. And yeah, looking forward to seeing some more of you making fabrication, well, engineering videos, not fabrication, engineering videos. Duke of the Dales. I got offered work in Christchurch in 2012 to help rebuild it. I really regret not going, as I would love to be there now. Yeah, I bet you would, honestly. We're all very, very fortunate here in New Zealand at the moment. Things are, I wouldn't say back to normal, because there's always that big black cloud looming, but it's pretty relaxed. Because it looks like the bars are open. All the bars are open. All the ones that survived the lockdown are open, and to be fair, pretty busy. I really don't think anybody would say, nope, I'm not going to the pub because I might catch something I don't want, without saying the word, because YouTube's very keen on suppressing anything to do with the global pandemic. Simon Raw. Morning from a wet and windy UK. Well, Simon, you'd be pleased to know the weather here in New Zealand, South Island, Christchurch, where I am now, is absolutely gorgeous. It's not too hot. It's not windy. Not really. There's hardly a cloud in the sky, and the sun is still beating down. And it's, what time is it? And it's 7 p.m. Couldn't ask for a better day. And we've had so many good days over the last few weeks. It's been brilliant. Matterwicks. There is a cyclone coming for Christmas. Excellent. That might have been in the workshop doing live streams interesting, won't it? James Webber. Third time lucky. You did. You missed the last two live streams. So James, well done. I think we should all give James a round of applause for making the live stream. Good job, mate. Matterwicks. Ooh, are there any strip clubs or massage parlours there? Pretty sure that there are. Should we find out? We could do that. We'll do a little search for massage parlours. Hang on. We'll do strip clubs first. How's that? Pretty sure there's a few in Christchurch. In fact, clean my fingers up. And you can do a search with me. So I don't think there's any glare in here. Hang on. Right, here we go. Strip Club Christchurch. Enter. Oh my word. Well, we've got Calendar Girls on Victoria Street, Lush Entertainment on 32 Allen Street, or Diversity's Christchurch Adult Entertainment Venue. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So, Calendar Girls opens at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. That's okay. What day is it today? It's Monday, so they're shut today. Bugger. Lush Entertainment opens at 5 p.m. on Friday. Well, that's no bloody good either, is it? Diversities. They might be open. Let's find out. Let's go to their website. Here we go. Look, have they got a website? Oh, there's no website. What's going on there? Okay, so Diversity's Christchurch. Let's try that. Let's do a search for them. Can't spell probably. There we go. Oh, we're going to have to go back. Sorry. Useless. Let's try that. Here we go. Oh, that's fine, yeah. There we go. Oh, brothelin.com. What have we got here? Here we go, look. Diversities. Strip club and brothel. You can do both. Or either. Whichever takes your fancy. And they're in Manning Place. 6 Manning Place, Christchurch. Very good. You found one of our specially selected strip clubs and brothels. Club Diversities is located in Christchurch, New Zealand. More information about diversity by visiting the website. Oh, let's do that. Oh, there isn't a website. That's bad news, isn't it? I wonder if they've shut down. Oh, hang on. We've got 2 reviews. I will never return. It was dirty. There were undesirable folk there. Found a hollowed out light bulb on the floor. Really? That's ridiculous. Aiden. Foul extreme fetish. Horrid place. I think they specialise in fetishes. On my last visit 6 months ago, I walked in on a guy covered in human waste. What the hell? Whilst the staff were taking photos. I'll probably be giving that place a miss by the sounds of it. Looks a bit dodgy to me. We got any more pictures? No, no more pictures. Bugger. Oh well. I don't think there's any more. Let's have a look. Let's go back. View all. Yeah. Oh, strip of meat, topless waiters. That's for ladies to go there by the looks of it. LA Girls Christchurch escorts, so they can come to your room and do a strip. The Christchurch Club. No. House of Kink. Venus Room. Oh, what's that? Venus Room. Oh, website. Here we go. Look, this is in Christchurch. It's in Woolston, Christchurch. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, very nice. Look at that. Beautiful Christchurch escorts and adult entertainment venue. Make a booking. Oh, there you go. Look. Wonderful stuff. Brilliant. Okay. Well, for anyone that's interested, oh my word, I better get rid of that. Jeez, can't be having that on there, can we? Right, better close that down straight away. Otherwise, Mr. YouTube's going to get really upset. I can see things happening now. That wasn't so good. We'll have to go back in and edit that bit out later on. That's terrible. Fancy doing that. Hey, and one thing I noticed, which they should have had, is it didn't say, are you over 18 before it opened the page, so it wasn't really my fault, was it? Very bad. I'm just rewatching it now. Oh, it's going to pop up any second. Oh, there it is. Oh no, Venus Room orgy. Honestly. Right, where are we? Let's get back to the comments. Right, sorry, going back a little bit. Here we go. Oh, there's so many comments now. Right. So, Matawix, hopefully that's answered your question there. I like to do research on behalf of viewers. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Killswitch, book me in, lol. Chris Brown, laughing my ass off. Simon Roll, clap, 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 James. Good job, mate. Duke of the Dales, did you go to the brewery in Timaru? Well, officially, I did go to the brewery in Timaru. Unfortunately, that brewery doesn't do brewery tours on a Sunday. They missed out on Andy Mechanic going around. The gates were not just locked, though, big chain around the gate, and clearly you couldn't go in. I even rang them up and said, look, parked outside. I want to go around. But there was nobody around. The lady that answered the phone was actually in the North Island. Matawix. Asian massage parlours. Most likely, there's plenty of Asians here. Daniel Beddle. Good morning, Andy. Still on the job site. Good man. Keep working. Oh, golly, hang on. Matowix, search Asian mash. You can do your own search. You've got Google. I'm not going to risk getting some more explicit material on my live stream. That wouldn't go down well, would it? Lynn Hoskins, Andy, just wondering, you were saying 7 p.m. there where you are. It's 1:03 a.m. here, Kentucky, US, Monday morning. Is it Monday evening there? Thanks. It is. It's Monday evening in the future. Here in New Zealand, because we always get there first, don't we, being New Zealand? Matowix, it was good reviews. David Eagleton, normal is a setting on a washing machine, lol. Now then, Matowix, the brothel sounds good. I bet it's expensive. Well, I would say going rate here in New Zealand for full service for an hour, probably between, well, it depends where you go, obviously, and the quality. Probably average about $200 for the hour. A bit less if the quality's not quite so good. A bit more if it's in a city or something. I don't know. I have no experience there. I have to say that. I have no experience whatsoever in going to massage parlours or brothels. At all. Just to make that clear. Now then. Matowix, I don't want to be smeared in human excrement even for free. No, me neither, to be honest. It's you know, it's pretty bad when you're bringing up kids and you've got nappies to change. That's about as close as I ever get to poo, to be honest. Simon Roll, sounds very diverse. That's a polite way of putting it. Matowix, well, that was amusing. Well, I do my best. I wasn't expecting the pop-up though, to be honest. That was a bit of a glitch. That's what happens on live TV, doesn't it? Pat, well, that was funny. They're quite different to the Andy mechanic in the workshop, really. Anyway, don't ask me. I know you've been asking me to do reviews of pies in New Zealand. Before any of you bring it up, I am not going to do an Andy Mechanic review of brothels in New Zealand. That would not work. A, I couldn't afford it. And B, Mrs. Mechanic would not see the research side of it. She would be very upset. And she's probably watching this right now. As is my mum. Mum always watches the live streams. This chicken's really good. Even cold, it's really nice. Lepsido. Hey Andy, just to let you know that there is a massive machinery and tools auction happening in Dunedin until the 20th. Might be worth a look for your workshop. I did spot that. Not the whole thing, but I did spot a few things on TradeMe. There was a 3-phase milling machine that looked pretty promising, and a couple other bits and pieces. So I'll have to, when I get back, because obviously I can't take anything back with me. The ute is absolutely crammed full of stuff at the moment. There's no spare room, especially for a milling machine. But I'll have to take a look, and then I could always get it freighted to one of the motorcycle shops and they can look after it until I get back down again. That would work. So thanks for the heads up, appreciate that. I don't know what I'd buy, but there's usually always something, isn't there? Matowix. So, Christchurch is the place to go if you want to get smeared in human waste and get photos taken by a manager. It does seem that way. Well, that was one particular venue. I'm not saying all the venues are like that. Lynn Hoskins. Hell yeah, Andy. Couldn't be more fitting than sexual healing in the background. Cheers, man. I think YouTube might even just ban this video once it goes out. Matowix, $200 is about my guess too. And I'm only guessing. Like I say, I've got no experience in this field. None whatsoever. Oh, got to the end of the comments. Must be time for another drink. Good stuff is that. And that's what it is. For those that have just joined us, Honesty Box cider. and it's a dry cider. Less sugar, I'm hoping, because there's a lot of sugar in cider. Chris Brown, what would you recommend as someone's first bike? I thought you were going to ask me what would I recommend as your first brothel. What would you recommend as someone's first bike to practice and get your license? Well, you want something that obviously depends on your height and your length of your leg and stuff, but you want something that's relatively light, not a heavy bike, but also something that's got a reasonably low seat height, so that a lot of first-time riders struggle when the bike's stationary. You know, or very slow speed corners, they always feel the bike's going to fall over on them, and you know, they're not going quite fast enough to keep it upright, and then they can't catch it because it's too heavy. Especially female riders, they do struggle with that kind of stuff. In general, I'm not saying all female riders, but in general. So something I would suggest, I don't know what obviously the licensing laws vary around the world, but in England I think it's a 125cc on a learner license. Well, that's what it was when I was there. Here in New Zealand, it used to be a 250cc, but now you can get up to a 650cc on a learner's license, as long as the bike's what's called LAMS approved. Not lambs as in a bear kind of lamb, and it's LAMS. And that means that it's under a certain power to weight ratio. That's the criteria, and under 655cc, I think it is, from memory. So something not too powerful, but not underpowered as well, because on a really underpowered bike, like a 125 for example, it's actually quite hard to set off without stalling it. If you get something like a 300cc, it's a lot easier to ride. And get something that isn't covered in panels. A naked bike. Ones with fairings. I mean, you're gonna drop your first bike. We all fall off our first bike. In my case, numerous times. A trail bike is a really good idea actually, because they're quite robust. When you fall off them, very little stuff breaks. Maybe the odd brake lever, or you might bend the handlebars at the very worst. Maybe a foot peg if you're unlucky. Whereas if you go out and buy a fully faired bike, it doesn't take a lot to smash the hell out of those fairings, and they're really expensive. Now then. Chris Brown, yeah. Okay, Simon, you're going to need a phase converter change of subject from human waste. Yes, let's get away from the human waste thing, because I'm actually having my tea at the moment, and it's not bringing up good visual things in my mind, to be honest. Kill switch. All bikes go light when going fast. Not a good idea for first timers though. Matowix, I had a DR200, great little bike, but was lowered so the guy's wife could ride it. It was a good height. Some dirt bikes are too high. Absolutely, if you're going to get a dirt bike, I mean, I've got a little TW200, which hasn't been on the channel yet because obviously it's the wrong brand. It's a great little bike. It's quite torquey for a 200. Quite low geared, so it's easy to set off. And that's something else you might want to consider doing actually. When you go for your test, here in New Zealand, and I think in England as well, you've got to go around a lot of cones in a car park, and it's very slow riding. There's nothing to stop you changing out the front sprocket. Put a smaller sprocket on the front, and gear it down, or a bigger sprocket on the back, or both, for a longer chain. Gear the bike down. Give yourself a few more gears to play with. And the chances of it stalling is drastically reduced if you gear the bike down as well. So it's not cheating, it's just making the bike more suitable if you're a novice rider to getting through the test without stalling out. Just these little things, you know, it all helps. Chris Brown, good to know. No problem. Just choose something that's easy to ride. Parts are cheap. because you're going to drop it. Doesn't have any panels on it. Low seat height. Just quite forgiving, you know. Kill switch. First timers should always stay just shy a take of speed. Should always stay just shy a take of speed. Sorry, kill switch, don't get that. I think spell check has attacked your comment there. Duke of the Dales. Google Simon Gandalf. He is amazing. The colossal trips he made on a 125cc in his 70s too. Wow, good books he has written about his journeys. I should do that. Thank you, Duke of the Dales. I watched a book called, it was Simon somebody, and it was called Jupiter's Travels, and he was on an old Triumph. I think it was a 750. And there were two books. I think Jupiter's Travels was the second book. It was a long time ago when I read it. Very, very cool. The guy just lived off a bike for years, and he's back then there was no internet and stuff, so he used to write a column for one of the newspapers, and they paid him a little bit towards his trip. On a monthly basis, he would get some money in his bank account, and it would then allow him to carry on and do a bit more. And he did all his own maintenance. He had all sorts of problems with the bike, but he found ways of overcoming the problems, and then was able to carry on. It's definitely called Jupiter's Travels. Check it out. Very cool. Matwix. My motorcycle test was just riding in front of the cop around the Brock in Avondale. That must have been a while ago. When I did my motorcycle test, I had a DT125R. It was I think it was the day after my 17th birthday, because you couldn't take your test, your full license, until you were 17. So first available date was the day after. So I rocked up, and there was this woman. The examiner was a woman, big lass. And back then you had to ride around the block. It was because the place, the road layout was like square blocks. So she said, "Oh, just ride down this road and take your first left, and then your first left, then your first left, then you'll come back here, and just keep doing that loop. And I'll have a wander around and watch how you see you get on." She wasn't on a bike. So I was riding around, and obviously using the indicators at every single junction, because that's what you're supposed to do. And poor lass, she was a little bit slow on her feet. And I'd done quite a few laps by this point. And I was coming up to one junction, and my indicator stopped working. The battery on the bike was going flat because I'd used the indicators and the brakes so much, and I wasn't really revving the bike either. I was riding, just progressively. And I had to resort to using hand signals. Now, fortunately, turning left is easy on a motorcycle. Turning right's not easy then. And she pulled me up and said, "Why are you not using your indicators?" So I explained. I said, "Well, with all due respect, you're taking a bit too long to walk around the block, and my battery's gone flat. This is a brand new motorcycle. It's not that there's a problem with the bike. It's just what I'm doing is not normal usage. It's not designed for this kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to use hand signals." And she was happy with that. She said, "Oh, well done. It's good that you know what hand signals are." So I carried on. And then she said at the start of the test, she says, "Oh, at some point I'm going to jump out in front of the road," which was a bit of an exaggeration. She's going to go out in front of me on the road and put her hand up and say, and basically I had to do an emergency stop. And I won't forget what happened. I saw her, she might be 100 meters away, and I could see that she was planning to step out. So she stepped out in the middle of the road, and she put her hand up, to stop. I think it was a clipboard actually. Put a clipboard up to stop. And there was quite a long gap between me and her. But to me, it was an emergency stop. You had to stop as quickly as possible, but under full control. That's what it said in the highway code. So I did. And I got stopped in like 10 meters. And I just sat there in the middle of the road. And I made her walk all the way up from where she was. It must have been like 70 meters away, all the way up to where I was. And she said, "Oh, when I do this, it means ride down to me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I didn't realise that. It's not in the highway code." So anyway, I passed. But at the start of the test, just reeling it right back to the start, you had to do an eyesight test. Now, I'd had conjunctivitis a couple of years earlier, and my eyesight was really, really bad at that point. And the eyesight test in the UK at the time was the examiner asking you to read a number plate on a vehicle about a set distance away. I can't remember exactly what the distance is, 50 meters or whatever it is. So before the test started, I arrived a little bit early and I had a wander around the block. And I was looking from the entrance to the building, the test centre. I sort of stood there and thought, well, they're going to ask me vehicles in this sort of area. So I was looking around and I memorised the number plates of all the cars that I felt were within that distance, that average distance that they would ask you. And sure enough, she asked me what the registration on the red Ford Escort, or whatever it was. And of course I had to remember because I couldn't really read it. So I started to look down at the pavement when I started to read it out because I was thinking, I wasn't looking at the car. And I got about halfway through the number plate and I caught, in the corner of my eye, I caught her looking at me and I realised what I was doing. So I quickly put my head up and looked at the car again and then finished off the number plate. And she sort of looked at me a bit curious and I went, yes, that's correct. Please get on your motorcycle, we'll continue with the test. So I pulled it off. Couldn't bloody see shit that day. But she was happy enough and gave me my license. So there you go. Little story, all from one comment. Kill switch. Take off speed. Ah. Well, there you go. David Eagleton. I got a Sunny Streak 250 Cruiser Honda made by Dongfang. What the hell? Matawix. I'm putting a 12-volt cigarette socket on my scooter. Do you think I could run an appliance for long, like a stereo or lamp, when camping? Well, if you've got the engine running, that's going to help because it's going to keep charging the battery up and, and create some kind of a supply, a current supply. But you need to have a look at the capacity of the battery on your bike and then look at the current draw of the appliance you're going to use, and you'll very quickly be able to calculate how long the battery is going to last, assuming that the battery is in good condition. If the current draw is high, then you may only get a short period of time. If the current draw is less, and if you're going to use a lamp, then I would suggest use an LED light because that will draw a lot less current and last a lot longer on that battery. Does your scooter have a kickstart as well as electric start? If it's got a kickstart, then it's not the end of the world if the battery goes flat, is it? But you'll have to do see what your battery rating is, find out what the current draw is, whatever you want to plug onto it, and go from there. But scooters are not the best thing to run things off. They don't usually have a very big battery on them. Salmon roll. The UK tests have changed now, but when I passed mine on 125, I had a restricted VFR 400, awesome bike, waiting when I got home. The restrictors came out the same day. Of course they did. Nobody is going to ride a restricted bike around like that. That was just being sacrilege. Good job, mate. Yeah, my the UK spec DT125R, which was I think limited to 12 horsepower for learners from memory, that didn't have the power valve motor, although the power valve was actually in the cylinder head, and it was set down. So it wasn't long after passing my test. I'd only had the bike maybe a couple of months. I sort of did some investigation work to what this power valve thingy was all about, and I modified it. And I remember using a little plastic knob off one of the deck chairs we had with an M6 thread, and I drilled a hole and made some kind of a seal. I can't remember exactly what it was, on the blanking plate, so I could actually manually turn the power valve whilst riding the bike. And I went out for a test ride, and I marked where the original position, so I knew where to put it back to. And then riding the bike, I sort of played around with it till I got optimum power, maximum speed and performance at higher engine revs, and then marked it on the cylinder, the second mark. So then I could ride around, and I could ride it in restricted form, or I could just lean down and twizzle it to a different position where the mark was, and all of a sudden it turned into a real motorcycle, and it would pull wheelies and all sorts of stuff. It was great fun. I really like that bike. It's good. And then some little scroat stole it. Bastard. Kill switch. Found my bike test was far easier than my car test. Oh, it's time for a cider. Hang on. Now, found my bike test was far easier than my car test. Okay, the bike test was 12 years later than the car. The difference was I really enjoyed riding. It was so much fun. I enjoy riding a lot too. I haven't ridden for a while though, I must admit. Last thing I rode was an FJR 1300, and that was fun. Motorways. The kickstart is really hard to kick. Do the Y freeze up? I don't want to break the mechanism, so I haven't used it. Feels like it's stuck. Oh, well, they can jam sometimes, and sometimes the kickstart mechanism, the return spring can break, and also the teeth can get damaged. So what bike is it? Tell me the brand, and I'll be able to give you more of a heads up. And Simon will be on it as well. Duke of the Dales. Back in the 1970s, you could get 1000cc bikes like the Kawasaki Z-Fow after passing a test, which was pretty simple. Frightening, really. Exactly, that was the same for me. You could, once I passed my test on the 125 and got my full license, the next day I could ride anything I wanted. As it happens, I just continued riding the 125 for a while because it did what I wanted it to do. And then it got stolen, so I replaced it with a TDR 250. Went to college, and then after about a year at college, somebody was selling a Super Tenere 750, again Yamaha. And I thought, ooh, they're cool. Quite fancy one of those. So I made a terrible mistake. Looking back, it was a really bad mistake. I sold the TDR 250 and bought this Super Tenere, which was a very different kind of bike. It was a massive trail bike, huge fuel tank, really heavy for bikes of that era. And it had some panel damage, which I repaired. I put some aluminium plate on it and riveted it all on. And being a trail bike, it didn't look out of place. It was all right. It had big Paris Dakar crash bars on it and some big silly spotlights and stuff. And it went really well. It just didn't handle really well. That was the biggest issue. And about 2 months after I was riding it around, the guy that I bought it off says, "Hey, do you want to see some photos?" I said, yeah, mate. Shows the pictures of the bike. He says, "Look, I had it all in bits." And he stripped the bike down in his flat. And this wasn't a ground floor flat. And the engine was in bits all over his kitchen table. And I'm like, "You're joking me, aren't you?" He says, No, I rebuilt the engine on it. And I did all this, it was all completely stripped and rebuilt. And from that point on, I really lost confidence with that bike. So eventually I sold it and got, was it after that? Super Tenere. I think I just started riding the higher bikes. I had a little CM200 and other bits and pieces. So my quest for bigger bikes sort of stopped at that point. I had more fun on the TDR than I ever did on the Super Tenere. Ah, David, it's a remake of the Honda Rebel. Right. Well, you should definitely check out the Kickstart because, if your battery goes flat somewhere or your electric start stops working, I suppose you can always bump start the bike, but Kickstarts are quite useful. Matterwicks, it's a Hoysum. Oh, sorry. Getting mixed up on the comments there. So, Matterwicks, it's a Hoysum 125cc scooter. If I damage the kickstart gear, I'll have to remove the CVT cover, etc. You will, yeah. Usually the kickstart mechanism's in that cover. Kill switch BB. Rule change for UK. Over 24s can do direct access. Under that age, you are restricted for 2 years unless you want to take a separate test. It's all changed since I was in the UK, to be honest. I took my test when I was 17, so that was 72, 82. So in 1989, I took my motorcycle test. That was quite a while ago, wasn't it? Luxido, I plan a lot of four-wheel driving over the summer. Any inputs on useful mods for my BJ74 Cruiser? Already got the hydraulic winch planned for next year. Well, it depends really what kind of off-roading you're going to do, because there's lots of different types. So give me an idea of the kind of terrain that you like to drive. Do you like to do lots of rock crawling? Do you like to do lots of deep mud plugging? Do you like to do real steep climbs? You know, do you like to do river crossings, in which case you need a snorkel on there, you know, all this kind of stuff. Ah, right, no, CVT drive, sorry, I was talking about the bike. You can't bump start a CVT drive, so the kickstart is even more important. Simon, Matwix, I think a hoist have a fork type design. It works as a linkage that can mismesh. There you go. See, Simon knows everything. Great guy. I remember working on in fact I think there's a video on it. There was a little scooter that I was working on a couple of years ago that the kickstart had done exactly that. I think there was a fault with the electric start as well, but I fixed the kickstart while I was in. And it had just gone out of mesh, that's all it was. This is tasty. Good choice. I'm pleased the chef didn't turn up, because I'd have ordered something massive and then regretted it. Okay. Look, see, deep river crossings and mud and a bit of rocky terrain in central Otago. Got the snorkel already. Okay, so you've got the snorkel, but is it really airtight? I got a snorkel for the safari, Mission Patrol, and it was actually a safari snorkel, which, believe it or not, I bought in England, brought with me to New Zealand and fitted it here, because I didn't have time in England. You need to make sure that everything in that snorkel pipework is fully sealed. Otherwise, you risk getting water in regardless. What else? Well, if you do rock crawling, I mean, the vehicle's already pretty well low geared, but you need clearance. You need lots of clearance. And you need tyres that can cope, you know, with a good, strong sidewall that can cope with, you know, rocks and bits and pieces causing damage. And tyres that can cope with the air pressure being let down a little bit. Don't go mad, because if you let this pressure down too much, you can actually pinch the sidewall on rocks, and that will damage your tyre. But a little bit of a drop is a great idea. Rock crawling as well. I don't know if your vehicle's got a rear and a front diff lock. Is it permanent four-wheel drive or part-time four-wheel drive? Probably part-time, given the age of the vehicle. Probably. Could be wrong. So the Nissan Patrol's part-time four-wheel drive. You really want diff locks on it. Makes a huge difference when you rock crawl. Oh golly. Matowix, the kickstart is really hard at the beginning. How hard should it be? I haven't wanted to break it. Okay, but can you actually turn the engine over with the kickstart, or does it just basically lock? Does it stop? And it won't actually go in full travel. Kill switch, Andy, and the rest of you, riff raff, lol. Catch you later. I have a job to go to. Take care, peeps. Cheers, Kill Switch. See you next time, matey. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. God, we're an hour and 8 minutes in. Well, we're not far off the end, look. There's only a little bit of cider left. Duke of the Dales. Have a good day, Kill Switch. Matwix. It won't even move. Then you've obviously got a mechanical problem. So you're going to have to bite the bullet, take the CVT drive cover off, and have a look. You're going to need to investigate, because it shouldn't be like that. It should be, I mean, I take it, a Hoyson, 4-stroke scooter, I think. I haven't seen one over here, to be fair, so shouldn't be too hard to kickstart. If it was a 2-stroke, it'd be dead easy to kickstart, but it shouldn't be too hard with a 4-stroke. Lupsido. It's part-time four-wheel drive, same as Safari, and vehicle is twin diff locks. Oh, mate, you've got it sussed. Cable lockers. Thanks for the snorkel check. How would you check it? Vacuum or pressurizing? No, to be honest, I would just go through it and just do visual checks on all the joints and silicon them all up. That's what I would do. Matwix, did you carry on drinking with that French guy? Oh, Matterwicks, look at the comment above yours. That's the French guy. That's the guy that was in Dunedin that I had a drink with. Yeah, he hung around for a while afterwards. I had another pint, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Chopper's Rule. Chopper's Rule 1. Good day, mate. How's it going? Well, it's pretty bad actually. We're down to the last piece of chicken, look. It's got my name on there. I'm actually quite hungry now. Well, that was a lot of banter, wasn't it? That's better. The guy didn't bring me any napkins. What's going on? Jeans are going to have to do the trick. Chopper's Rule 1. I just got home from work. Wow. Good man. Thanks for joining us. Simon. Matterwicks, don't stress about taking the cover off. Things are not going to spring off and go flying. No, that's right. It's actually pretty stable in there. There's not a lot you can do wrong. Just pull the cover off, take some photos, and then dig your way in. Easy. What does Erico say? If I can do it, you can do it. Now, Lipsido. Hi, Matterwicks, from the French guy. Matterwicks, do you think much of ABS on motorcycles? Okay, really good point. New Zealand will be making ABS compulsory on all motorcycles over 125cc. I think it's starting October 2021. So not too far away at all. Now, that also includes dual purpose bikes and adventure bikes. Basically, anything with a number plate. Any of you that know anything about ABS on cars, if you use the car on a loose surface like gravel, then ABS dramatically increases the stopping distance of the vehicle. And the reason for that is you don't get what's called the wedge effect. On a wheel that's locked up, it acts a bit like a snowplow. It builds up the gravel in front of the tyre, and that acts as a wedge and gets you stopped a bit quicker. Okay, you can't steer too well because the wheel's stationary, but it does help to reduce the stopping distance. On a motorcycle, same thing happens. Yes, it maintains to some extent, because it's quite a loose surface, it maintains some kind of steering ability, but usually you steer a bike on leaning, not on actually turning the bars. Doesn't really help. But it dramatically increases the stopping distance, especially on the rear tyre. I was on a particular brand of bike over in Australia, and I'd set the camera up in a lay-by for me to come riding off the highway and do a big sliding skid on the rear tyre up to the camera. What actually ended up is I went straight past the camera, onto the grass, into the bush, and then finally got stopped because the ABS cut in. Thanks, ABS. Made me look like a complete idiot. And of course, you know, the footage was it was funny, but I couldn't use it. So I'm not a fan of ABS on motorcycles if you're going to use them off-road. If, however, you only use the bike on-road, what's the harm in it? It can only be a good thing, I think, really, because there will be times on a wet road, especially, where the car in front of you or the truck or whatever it is slams his anchors on and you have to get stopped real quick without falling off, may I add. And ABS will help with that. I mean, the one thing it doesn't help with, and I have a KTM 640 LC4 Supermo card, I like to lock up the back end. If I'm coming up to a T-junction or somebody's driveway, often I'll lock the rear wheel and slide the bike. I'll actually lean the back end of the bike out and line it up where I'm going, and then dump the clutch and wheelie off. Great fun. I'm not the world's best rider, but it's not often I fall off. Obviously with an ABS bike, you can't do that. It takes away the fun. So I will not have an ABS fitted motorcycle or equipped motorcycle because I won't be able to do the kind of things that I want to do. But if you're not into that style of riding, then ABS, especially on like something like a big cruiser or a touring bike, you know, your pan-Europeans, that kind of thing, where it's a big, heavy bike, then I think ABS is a bonus. On the smaller bikes, could you imagine an RD 350LC back in the day having ABS? You know, every time you pull a wheelie, you get a fault code. Because that's something else you've got to bear in mind. You start pulling wheelies and your wheel speed differs. You know, if you're pulling a wheelie for 300 or 400 meters, your front wheel pretty much becomes stationary. The back wheel's obviously at road speed. The ECU is going to go, what the hell's going on? But flag a fault code. And chances are you can't get the fault code cleared until you go to the dealership. Not ideal, because we all like to pull wheelies, don't we? So, you know, bear all those factors in mind. At the moment, it is still okay to have a motorcycle with ABS and be able to disable the ABS. Some of the big adventure bikes you can do that on at the moment. Once that law comes into effect, you will not be able to disable the ABS. That function will not be allowed to be included on the bike's design. Otherwise, it won't be allowed in that country. It won't comply to the road requirements. So they're getting pretty heavy-handed. And I believe the legislation that New Zealand has adopted is what's already in Europe. That's what I've been told. So yeah, bit of an issue at the moment, especially for dual purpose bikes. You know, like the enduro bikes. I mean, I used to have an XR 400R Honda. And again, you know, if that bike was produced now, it would have to produce next year, it would have to have ABS. I wouldn't want ABS on that bike. ABS, you go through your first deep mud hole with it, and the ABS is gonna shit out in it. Basically, it's not gonna be very happy at all, and then you'll probably be in limp home mode, or there'll be some kind of detrimental element to your riding style. It's just not suitable for that kind of environment. Plus, manufacturers won't fit it anyway, so you just won't be able to buy the bike anymore. Now then, oh, the chips are really cold. Lepsido. Cool, thanks Andy. We'll check that next trip. No worries, matey. Chopper's Rule 1. I'm still waiting for the water pump for my bike. Honda didn't order it 2 months ago like they said they would. Wow, not happy. So you placed the order and then they forgot all about it. Slappy wristies there, Honda. That's ridiculous. They should do you a pretty hefty discount for that inconvenience. Matowix, why aren't there warnings about ABS brakes on gravel for car drivers? Well, I mean, in the UK, there's not really very many gravel roads to drive anyway. But here in New Zealand, gravel roads are, well, they're everywhere. I mean, I've driven loads of gravel roads on this trip. Danzy's Pass was one. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed Danzy's Pass. It was cool. Beautiful scenery, really nice evening. Sunshine was out, nice and warm. Perfect. Definitely go back again. And maybe try and link it into my standard runs because it was so much fun. Yeah, it's a fair point. You know, drivers should be warned that if you've got ABS fitted to your car, then your stopping distances actually increase. I agree. But there's no signs up, is there? Simon. People just take the ABS pump out of the system in the UK. I'm off to work. See you all later. Well, that's good to know, Simon. Have a nice day at work, mate, and thank you again for joining us, and maybe catch you on the live stream on Sunday. Cheers, mate. Now then, Matowix. I can't see Suzuki adding ABS to the basic unchanged design for the DR200. That's right. So you know what's going to happen? No more DR200 road legal. Duke of the Dales. Cheers, Simon. Chopper's Rule 1. I can't ride my bike. Need my bike fix. Oh, mate. You're not the only one. Cool. Last bit of chicken. The sauce is really nice. Very good. So, hour and 19 minutes, and I haven't even drunk a whole pint. A little bit left. Okay, any more comments? Now's the time. We've run out of chicken. Betsudo, Danzy's Pass Road is famous here. If you have time, I recommend going into a Tiki Park four-wheel drive track from the main road. You can drive to the top of Mount Caburn. Right, okay. How rough is the track? Because next time I come down, I'll schedule a day off work or a weekend. In fact, we'll do it on the weekend. We'll go in convoy and we'll do a video on it. How's that? That'll be cool. Are you up for that? Fancy your days off-roading? But it can't be too rough. And is it all public highway? That's the question. Or is some of it private? Because I'm only allowed to take the company car on public roads. So I need to make sure. So we could do that. Mount Caburn. I'll check it out. Chopper's Rule 1. I had to buy a cheap car. Oh, I don't like cars. They have too many wheels, lol. Matowix, where are you driving to next? Well, I'm here tonight in Christchurch, obviously. And I've got a little run to do tomorrow. Dealer to go and visit in Christchurch, and then another one in Rangiora. Hi, Bob. And Matt, by the way, if Matt's watching. And then I come back to Christchurch for tomorrow night. There won't be another live stream tomorrow night. I've done one in Christchurch already. Wednesday morning, early start. Get the hammer down. Get to Picton. Can't miss the ferry. Critical. Got to get on that ferry. And then on Wednesday night, I'll be in Wellington. So there'll be a live stream from Wellington if all goes to plan and the ferry doesn't sink. Touch wood. Duke of the Dales. Cheers, Andy. Have a great week. Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us. Upsido. Most of the tracks have been done in two-wheel drive with my cruiser. This is legal public access. Excellent. Count me in. I'll let you know when I'm down next, and I'll schedule a weekend to be in Dunedin. You say it's near Dunedin, right? And then we'll go off and have some fun. And we'll get the GoPro, and we'll do an Andy Mechanic video of us exploring and making our way up to up Mount Caburn. As long as it's public roads, it's not an issue. David Eagleton, nice music. Thanks. YouTube's going to pick up on this. I know that. Duke of the Dales. I've got a lovely bag of Walker's cheese. Oh, you bastard. Walker's cheese onion crisps. Seriously. Getting hungry now. Again, I'm starting to, you know, is it Salvolate? You know, cheese and onion crisps. Walker's, especially, the best crisps on the planet. Matowix, review at least one South Island pie. Price and quality from the bakery. Oh. All right. I'll try and do something for you. Let me try and plan that for you. Chopper's Rule 1. I think my dad still has me 4x4 comp truck. Can I bring that, lol? You sure can. Tuxedo. It's near Nasenby, Ranfurly, so 2 hours from Dunedin. But driving from north, just turn off at Palmerston. Don't drive to Dunedin. I know exactly what you mean. I'll do that. We'll discuss it later on. Send me an email, maybe after Christmas and the New Year, remind me, and I'll have a better idea of my schedule for next year then. Okay, crew. The last bit's going down. You know what? It's time for another one. Okay. Who was that? David Eagleton. Don't eat too much. You won't fit in the shop, lol. You know how to make a guy feel good, don't you? Honestly. Oopsie-doop. Catch you later, Andy. All right, crew. Time to go. See you around. Over and out. Oh, and thanks for joining. Cheers.